hard to say. Oh, my fan kicked in, so something's happening. But I don't see it on this channel. There it is. Oh, look at that. It used our banner as the thumbnail. It actually worked out quite nicely.
It looks great. Is that something, did you make that? Or wait,
Yeah. I mean, it's not the same font as like the original logo.
right, I like the little flowery background.
Yeah, it's just like a Photoshop
Mhm.
like default thing. But
Cool.
you know what? It looks good. Um, yeah. So cool. We're live.
Okay.
Not from New York, but you know, Philly's close enough, right?
Live kind of from Philly. It's Sunday morning.
There you go.
Live.
Okay. Cool. Where do we start? We got a few things, I think.
Yeah. So,
Um,
well, if we're recording, we can start by saying that this is uh, the Dreamscape's semi-regular Let's Talk art critique. We're just gonna say that until until we
yeah,
figure out the
yeah.
schedule. We'll just start to say semi-regular, or like monthly, um,
Seems
where
safe.
we where we where we pull material from our community, from our critique channel and our Discord, and take a look at uh, some of the submissions from our people and give them feedback and talk about what we like and what we think could use improvement. So
Yep.
um,
Yeah.
we are,
Oh,
hey there, welcome. Um,
hello. Um,
so we are just getting started actually. And if you want to share video or share audio with us, you can. We're live streaming this to our new YouTube channel so that we can
mm,
kind of have an archive of the live streams that we're doing. So I'm just letting you know that if you do decide that you want to share audio or video. Um, but we're gonna get started uh, and just go through. I guess we'll just go through a couple of the last things.
yeah.
Evan, why don't we? We'll do like a softball. We'll start. What's that called? No, not a softball. An underhand, whatever. Some sort of sports term. Um,
So something like that. Yeah.
something like
I
that.
get this right.
Let's start by talking about your film, your abstract film pieces.
Oh yeah. I forgot I sent those.
Yeah, they're so
That
good.
yeah. I thought it was sort of a cool project.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I this was sort of part of like a school project,
Oh,
and
okay.
so I wanted to like shoot something with film, just as like an experimentation kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but obviously, yeah, it didn't quite turn out as planned, but you know, I think it's still a really cool product for sure.
Yeah, they're really
Um,
beautiful. Really hard to photograph those, right?
e-
Glossy.
yeah, yeah, I mean, with the polarizer, it wasn't too bad, and I just have a strobe to the left there
Hmm.
on the seamless, but um, yeah, it was pretty good. Um, I'm uh, yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that I wasn't able to get anything like usable per se, like as like a actual product.
Hmm.
Um, so I just ended up, taking a photo with my normal camera and trying to sell that off as unique in some way. But um, yeah, let me see if I can pull it up on the stream here.
So I learned a while back, and I might have shared this actually in the Critique channel quite a while back, that um, with Polaroids, I don't know about these, but with some brands of Polaroids, and it works best shortly after you've taken the photo. The longer it gets,
Mm.
the harder this is. But you can actually remove the emulsion from the Polaroid, so you can actually cut it. You can like cut the layer out that is
Oh,
the photo,
interesting.
and then slap it onto stuff. And it's like this interesting, like
Oh, like a transfer kind of thing.
the transfer. Yeah,
Oh,
it's so
cool. Yeah.
interesting because you remove the glossy plastic layer, and it becomes this like really interesting matte, like also stretchy because it's
Mm.
just literally this like gel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's artists who will put that on 3D objects. You know, they'll either just put it on paper or they'll put it on objects.
Hmm.
Really cool. So
Yeah. That was actually one of my considerations for this project was to do it as a transfer because my dad used to do that kind of thing and put it on watercolor paper.
yeah, cool.
Um, but it didn't work out obviously.
Hmm.
Or actually, I suppose it could have worked out with these things, but um, yeah, I guess I do. I have a few of the like raw things left. It was sort of funny. They were dated to expire in 2008,
Hmm.
so I don't know what I expected from these things, but
Yeah. Well, a lot of people shoot film that expired in the 80s and 90s even. So
it is true. Yeah. How do I pull up the stream on here? I guess that works.
you're talking about the screen sharing.
Yeah, let me fix it on OBS
I can
now.
see. I can see your screen.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to have something in the stream where we can show what we're talking about.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I think that I'm just looking through. The one that really grabs my attention is that first one. Um, well,
That one was cool for sure.
yeah, and they all grab my attention. The last one, the triptych, is really really fun. Um, are those? Am I just making something of nothing? Is it like what were you shooting at for those three?
What shooting like what?
So
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can show you what it was, and I don't like the only place I see it is like maybe in like the very top section of this one here.
okay.
It was sort of like a barn. I should probably close my text. Yeah, it was sort of a barn. Let me find it in my other. Uh,
Is this like out of focus thing in the background of the center triptych? What are you talking about?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So I guess um, in all of the film there you can see there's sort of this like weird nebulous shape in the center of all of them.
Hmm.
So like this area here and this area here. I
Hmm.
think that was the main part of the film that was particularly bad. And
Hmm.
you can see that by like the texture on the top there. It's actually like sort of a coarse texture.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, it's that sort of blocked like the main bit of subject.
Hmm.
But then uh in the very very back and top and bottom, you can almost see the background.
Hmm.
Um,
But that
I'm still
foreground
trying.
information is so interesting.
It's really cool, yeah. And I wish I knew more about like how the chemistry of Polaroids work because I'm sure there's a explanation for what I'm seeing there. But
Hmm.
and the texture is especially cool.
Yeah, very cool. But that first one is really what grabs me. Actually, it's. I think it's just that it's a little more earthy tone, rusty looking,
Yeah,
and it looks like walking through Manhattan or something.
interesting.
I think
Yeah, yeah,
it's funny to be uh, the giver of that, where like I make a lot of more abstractish art over the years, and I'm
yeah,
always like I always don't really know what to do when somebody says, "Oh, I see this thing in that," or "That looks like this," and I'm just like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, like it's abstract, yeah, sure, like whatever you think." So it's just funny to I'm never like the giver of that, where I just said, "Oh, it looks
yeah,
like Manhattan," and they came out of my mouth, and I realized, "Oh, that's a funny feeling."
yeah, yeah. This one was a little bit different because what I did was I just sort of massaged the film
Oh,
before exposing it, and so it
cool.
resulted in sort of spreading that gel prematurely.
Hmm.
Um, And so yeah, that's sort of a like a different technique for sure, but yeah, yeah, I think it came out pretty well.
Have you ever
Um,
done any printmaking things? Your work with printmaking?
I like some linoleum prints or anything.
Anything. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different printmaking mediums.
I did linoleum for early part class once.
Mm. So I feel like
Uh,
so photography comes out of printmaking, right? Like it's
I
actually
suppose.
it was
Yeah.
derived by printmakers. And some of the old stuff, even up until things like Polaroids, are using printmaking techniques. And I feel
Mm.
like that physicality that you're talking about, even just like massaging the film, is very cool. And there's a couple printmaking media that I think you really enjoy. Oh, hey,
Sure.
Oscar.
Hey, Oscar.
In particular, I think you would like monoprints. I think if I can printing, um, which is just the process of taking a I guess you need a press for this, but it's the process of taking like a piece of plexiglass, and rolling out using a roller, a film
Sure.
or matrix of uh, oil ink, and then you lay a piece of paper down on that, um, and you can like draw on the backside of the paper, and
Mm.
whatever you draw on the backside will push harder on the ink side, and it comes up like that. But you can like draw with your fingers, or you can place objects down on it. It's like a very direct printmaking technique. It's really fun. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it actually it creates. You can draw so much more accurately than you can just freehand draw. Like I like drawing just to draw because I like that kind of
Mm.
human imperfection of it. But
Yeah.
you print out like an image of people usually start with like, oh, an image of like an old man, something with like creases and a lot of like contrast, right? And you
Mm.
like tape that to the backside of your paper, so you have your plexiglass with ink, then you have a
Sure.
piece of paper taped to it, and on the backside of that paper you have some sort of image, and then you just start drawing in, pressing harder in the dark areas and things. When you pull it up, you have an image. It's like basically just becoming a copy machine. Um, but I feel like
Mm.
that would be a
Okay.
medium you would enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, interesting.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
Yeah. There's so much more that you can do with like film that you just like you have so much freedom with digital, but like these physical changes that you can do with film is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the transfers and also like in the actual dark room with
Mm,
different chemicals and everything is so
yeah,
cool.
I
Um,
miss darkroom photography. That was one of my first college classes was a darkroom photography class.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was good stuff. Oh, cool. We got a submission from Oscar. Thanks,
Oh,
Oscar.
awesome.
Why don't
Hey,
we go to those? Oh,
hey,
you're with us now? Oh, cool.
yeah, I just
Awesome.
had some Mother's Day celebrations this morning, and was just able to get
Oh,
up
of
here.
course.
Do you wanna tell us a little bit about this piece you shared?
Oh yeah, so I wanted to try arranging for horns because that was something I'd never done before, and so this
Mhm.
is a little score for like a three-part horn section,
Mhm.
and yeah, I guess I wanted some thoughts on. Yeah, I was looking for some maybe feedback on, yeah, probably more sort of specifically the horn arrangement itself. The audio is just sort of it playing out of, I scored it all in MuseScore, and so it's just like the audio playing out of that. So,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a listen.
Hmm.
I think how we should do this is I will probably just mute myself so I can listen, because otherwise it might get
Okay.
a little janky.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Hmm.
I don't know if the audio comes through in the stream, but
Yeah. So is this all being streamed? Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Oh, this is so fun.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um,
In my
Is
head, I
this
was always
is this a
kind
new
of,
score?
yeah, that's out of music score. I was always kind of struggling with it sounding like kind of cheesy to me. There were definitely some weird lines I had taken out at some point that just like, uh, were, yeah, not working for me. But yeah.
so I think one thing is the the always present issue of like hearing it played by a bunch of robots.
That's
um,
see, yeah.
because actually, like, I think that I was thinking two things. Uh, I would love to hear or have you play around with like tempo. Um,
Hmm.
the tempo that it is really like if it was live, it would be in the pocket. You know what I mean? If it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
actually live music, it would be like really grooving. And if you had good musicians, they'd be really sitting with each other and dynamic. Um, but it's hard to like have that conveyed through something like this, you know, especially with like rigid dynamics where it's like you tell a
Uh-huh.
computer play a piano, a mezzo piano, and the difference is so minor. Um,
Hmm.
but actually having like that the drama, having live musicians play in that dramatic way where they're like swelling in and out of spaces and stuff together, you know, just can't get you can't get a horn section doing that
Yeah.
obviously as robots. But another thing that would be fun to hear is a piece like that played faster, like, you know,
Yeah.
not like super fast, but I think that, yeah, I think the movement between the musicians and the like, um, especially those little, I guess, like section intro outros, but you know where it's like clarinet takes it and it's like comes in, and it's like sax takes it and it comes in, you know, and you have those little things interwoven that sound
Mm.
really good if they feel. Um, the faster it is, the less highlighted it will be, I think. Does that make
Uh-huh.
sense?
Yeah, I did just kind of like play back a little bit here, and my first thought was, oh man, this is sounds yeah, kind of 510 like BPM under where I want it, but yeah.
And like right, I think all of these things get resolved with actual musicianship, like
Hmm.
an actual drummer too would just
Yeah,
add
yeah.
like totally change it.
Hmm.
But those are restrictions that you have to work within when you're writing like this. So I think, given the circumstances, it sounds really good. Like it's really fun.
Hmm. Yeah.
It has a vibe like that. You said like cheesy, or you said a word like that, and like
Uh-huh.
I yeah, totally, but in like in a great way, you know, like
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
rules. It feels like it just feels happy, you know. Like I wouldn't say cheesy in a bad way. It just feels like chill, like I don't know, like 80s.
Yeah. The inspiration of this was probably coming from a lot of Corey Wong's music,
Sure,
and
yeah.
that's definitely, I think, sort of his stuff is like always kind of upbeat in that way,
Mhm.
I think, and
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
a song like this would end in a live venue, uh, breaking down to just the drummer hitting like a hi-hat and everybody singing the melody, everybody in the audience singing the melody. That's
Uh-huh.
how that song would end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just for the drama of it all, you know. Everyone going like la la da, da, you know, in this
Uh,
huge gore auditorium.
Sure.
That's how that
uh-huh.
would end. If you ever record it, you know, you could emulate stuff like that. You could just get, you know, musicians or yourself, a bunch of copies of yourself to do something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna try to, I think, get together some people, and I'd probably end up recording it in like two chunks, but like drums, bass, piano, and then maybe record the horns afterwards.
Mhm.
Just with the kind of technical limitations I have right now, but I'm definitely looking to do that if that's a possibility. Yeah,
What do you play? What, like specifically you?
I play piano. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I kind of, this started as like, oh, here's my piano chord progression, and then I said, okay, there's no melody, let's have one. So
Um,
yeah.
Depending on where you set up, where you record, things like that, just from a sound engineer, I will transmit information from an experimental sound engineer. I'll call it. One of
uh,
my favorite things to do if you're performing in a space that has live acoustics of any kind, even if you're like, oh man, this has live acoustics, I don't want that. Use it to your
uh,
advantage. So one of my favorite things to do is I'll take a microphone and I've done this on a billion tracks. Take the mic, face it the opposite way, so you know it's basically nulling at your mouth, and
uh,
then have your headphones on. And if it's singing or if it's playing a horn or whatever, have the original track going. And if you're basically just doing accent stuff, sing. For instance, I'll give the example of I recorded this one song with my friend Doug. We write music together, and we were playing in this church we used to, before COVID. We used to record in this church,
mhm.
and it wasn't like, you know, old school, beautiful, huge echoic space, but it was like, you know, it was a big room, and he had a he you know he had lyrics, he had a melody, and I wanted to sing backing vocals, so I sang the part behind him, but into the room with the mic faced away from me, and I did that
Mm.
like 10 times. So
uh,
there were just 10 of me singing into the dynamic in the room, and then the room was acting as this, you know, amplifying device, reflecting back at the microphone, and it sounds really imperfect. And every time you do it, it's going to sound slightly different, and you can composite it into this, basically into a reverb. So it was like my voice became his reverb, um,
mm.
and it really generates like a very large sound. So yeah, if you record with people, consider like letting yourself record a bunch of copies of that one saxophone or a bunch of copies of the drum, you know, and then just mix it in, by creating like the actual reverb, you know, genuine reverb.
uh, yeah, I think when I had first recorded like a sort of demo thing before I had done anything with the horns. I have a piano in my living room, and just having one mic, even like just backwards towards the room, I was like really impressed with, wow, that the rooms does a lot for this, because it's
Yeah.
a relatively, for a house, it's a decent sized room. But yeah, just like the room sound of the piano, even, yeah, definitely.
It's a really fun technique to play with, and especially in that kind of like experimental, like low budget experimental. You know, you
Mhm.
could take a phone and just record, just place the device on the opposite side of the room or in the corner where everything's going to be reflecting weirdly, and then all of a sudden it's like,
Mhm.
oh, what is that? Why does it sound like that? It just creates something very genuine. Um,
Mhm.
so cool. It's good that it's exciting that you're already doing that. I've done that with one of my favorite things to do is like old cassette players, like really, really shitty cassette players.
Uh,
And then you record with your cassette player just across the room. It's just sitting somewhere really far away,
Mhm.
being
Mhm.
cranked up. So it's going to be really gritty anyway.
uh,
Sometimes it picks itself up, so you get this kind of hum in the background where it's like, you know.
Uh, yeah,
But yeah, cool.
definitely. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Thanks for sharing. It's always nice to hear
Yeah.
music space.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you wanted to add, Evan? I feel like I just accidentally dominated that.
No. I'm glad you did because I don't know as much about the music stuff as you do. So, um, yeah, this is really cool. I would love to see this recorded for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Do you have this arrangement? You have two saxes and a trumpet at your disposal?
Uh, sort of. That'd be essentially seeing if I could coerce some band players to help me out. But I definitely have a drummer and a bassist at my
Yeah.
disposal. But
You should try. You should see if one of your saxes has a clarinet or wants to play one. I think a clarinet or soprano sax would sound so nice on this.
Okay, yeah, soprano sax.
Right?
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's so much, there's such a bend to that. Obviously saxes can bend their notes too, but it's just part of the vocabulary of something like the clarinet or saxophone or a soprano to like have those really lovely bends. You could just write in, you could just pencil in a couple of your notes that you have here, bending for them, you know,
hmm
some of
yeah.
the less staccato stuff, just kind of like bending in and out of notes, and it would add a really, really cool texture, I think.
So, like sopranos, I don't honestly know a whole lot about the technical bits of horn instruments. So, like soprano sax to trumpet, how is the range different?
It might be fairly similar. Have you ever checked those range charts? There's some beautiful
I
range charts.
I've taken a little bit, and then some of them are like seem like they're saying different things than other ones. Like if you're an average horn player, here's your
Yeah.
range. But if like you're a really good horn player, here's like your range. I don't
All
know.
right. So soprano sax range is A flat 3 to E6, and let's remember that. So, um, that range.
Mm-hmm.
B4 to C6. Oh, no, wait. The middle range is B4 to C. Why is this not as easy to see? Oh, because there's a bunch of clarinets. That's why.
Oh,
That makes sense.
I'll do it. Okay.
The sounding range.
Trumpet range.
I think they're fairly comparable. I'm just gonna, without taking too much, I'm gonna say they're fairly comparable.
What trumpet? F sharp 3 to D6. So yeah, that's like about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
You
Okay.
most of your stuff didn't look like it was pushing the realm.
Yeah, I think I'd had one trumpet player tell me like some of the high notes were like right kind of on the top of what they could probably play on trumpet,
Mm-hmm.
but and I had cut out maybe sometimes I had maybe had it step like up instead of down, just
Yeah.
kind of on the sort of chorus thing. So I just like lowered it the step or two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and if you have somebody who actually plays an instrument, it's always nice to have them be like, yeah, I can't do that, or I can do this, mostly.
Uh-huh.
You
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, worth checking out those textures. I think they would be really cool.
Yeah, totally.
Do you do like marching band stuff or school band stuff?
No, I had played violin in the orchestra for quite a while, but I haven't really honestly played the violin a whole lot recently.
Gotcha.
But yeah. Mm.
Well, let's take a look at Enrico's stuff, and then maybe we'll get out of here.
Mhm.
Keep this one. I'll say we'll keep it short. It's never that short. But that's okay. Focused is what we'll say. So Enrico recently went on a trip to the West Coast, and and took a bunch of photos. Yeah, in San Francisco and along the Pacific Coast Highway, if that's what that's called. Yeah, we have photos of Palace of Fine Arts, San Francisco, Japanese Tea Garden in San Francisco, the Lone Cypress Tree in Monterey,
Yeah.
Pine on the Coast in San Simeon, and Golden Gate and Alcatraz. So yeah, so we have a couple photos here.
This is sort of trippy because this photo from Monterey is like the exact
That,
same photo
that's
that my
exactly what.
background is.
As what?
That's
It's
exactly what I was
like
gonna
literally
say.
my wallpaper on my computer. Like,
Oh, weird.
angle. So
Uh,
um
I knew I
Which one is it?
recognized it from somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, let me see if I can like pull up a this may be more effort than it's worth, but
Oh no, it's so worth. Go for it.
Is it like a default wallpaper?
no,
Oh.
it was made by some guys. The Monterey OS didn't come with a like one of the classic Apple default wallpapers,
Mhm.
and so they went out and like made their own basically.
That's cool.
That doesn't look right. Anyway, yeah. So like I don't know. It's hard to show you guys, but
It's okay. You can drop it
anyway,
in. You can drop it in the chat at some point later.
Oh, good.
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I am loving the fourth image. Oh my god,
Honestly, yes.
that is beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
really
wonderful.
dramatic and beautiful.
It it's like it's so much simpler than all the other ones. It's like you
Mhm.
just have some very clear elements,
Mhm.
and it's also playing really nice on the phone. I gotta say,
It's just
Honestly, I'm so impressed with that. These are like iPhone pictures.
yeah.
It's incredible.
something feels very different. Like I don't know, the colors just like on the Lone Cypress Tree. They're just not playing at all, I think, as well as the image right below it. Just that kind of sunset colors, I feel like.
Yeah, my best guess is that they're shooting into the sun in that picture, so maybe there's
Yeah,
a bit less color because of that. But
yeah.
yeah,
I like the. I think that what stands out, especially in the collection of the six of them, is just the confidence in this photo with the sign because it is so different. Um, and sometimes it feels like scary to to have a photo or have an image or drawing or something that is like just pared down. Um,
sure.
I laughed
Yeah.
because I thought about how there's this term in uh, to do with like the old Dutch masters, in like the the Dutch painters, specifically the Dutch painters around the old masters. There was this thing where you called it we called it or they called it horror vacui, which was just fear of empty space. And so that's why when you look at like paintings of like a Bruegel painting or something, there's just too much stuff happening all at once. Like if you look at these paintings, or you look at like uh, Bosch, like a Hieronymus Bosch painting, there's just a million people, a million little objects, a million like strange little visual allegory to like religion or something. But it's just there's no empty space, and I just like thought of that when I was looking at the difference between these because this just shows that confidence. It just shows a totally different kind of like look at this one thing. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and it's just so beautiful. It's like
Yeah.
all of the color interplay is gorgeous, and the movement of like the shapes. The shadow and light.
I
Yeah,
gotta love the
I'm not
little
familiar
fingerprint.
with this location actually.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what is it? San Simeon?
Mhm.
It's interesting. Oh wow. I'm just like looking it up on Google here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
It's a little personal time.
That's really cool.
The tea house photo is really good too. That's just I think that's it kind of falls in behind a lot of the other ones because it's almost monochrome, but that too, it's sort of understated the
Yeah,
beauty.
yeah. It's it's a lot less in your face than the other ones for sure.
But it's really nice. It's so not in your face that you can pass over it, but then when you spend time with it, it's very peaceful.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I want to be there. Yeah, these
Yeah,
are cool.
these are great.
Does anybody have any thoughts on this? Is always the hard part because you just want to like fawn over things. But do you have any thoughts on ways that this could be improved upon?
I mean, given that it's on an iPhone and not like on a expensive professional camera or whatever, it's hard to complain about
Right.
these like technique wise. Especially in like this one, we got some great leading lines.
Mhm.
Lovely composition. This is obviously just a classic shot. I mean, I'm looking at the Monterey one there. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to come up with anything to improve upon about them, but
Yeah, I think when you know that you have the restriction of like it's just an iPhone, it's to me it's always like okay, well then composition becomes the.
Mhm.
How can you even just cropping? And yeah, I think that so many of them are really lead your eye where he wants you to lead.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, myself, I might have gone in the tea house photo here, just like a little bit to the right, I guess, so that that tree would be like more hugging the edge and not like interrupting the building itself as much.
That's interesting. Hmm.
But it's also could be seen as like an artistic choice to have it that way because
Yeah,
it's sort of continuing that like uh, how hidden the tea house is. So it's sort of like I don't know. Anyway, yeah,
one of the only dominant foreground elements too, other than that grass. So I kind of like it in the way.
I do feel like it sort of helps it maybe lean into the sort of hidden in the background as opposed to there was just stuff in the way.
That's true. That's true. I think the one that I'm thinking about in terms of like you composition. I don't even know. I don't even know what the resolution would be, but I think that the Alcatraz shot is really beautiful, and I know that the content
We
there
haven't
is
talked
really
about this one
beautiful.
much at all.
What's that?
We haven't talked about this one much at all, but
No, no.
really cool shot.
It's a really cool shot. But I also feel that there is so much happening, and it's hard to figure out the right
Hmm.
composition for a photo like this.
Yeah.
Those are some
Also, are these birds in the sky there?
Yeah, I was
Can't
just thinking the
tell.
same thing. I'm pretty sure they're birds. Look on a well,
I mean, it's sort of a cool look,
Mhm.
but like, I mean, if it were me, I would probably just like clone stamp those out.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
mhm.
yeah,
Get that really
yeah,
nice open blue sky look, high gradient.
yeah, exactly.
We need to bring in
Yeah.
Austin here. When we used to have the Let's Chats regularly, and Austin would just share how much he edits things out of his photos. Do you remember that, Evan?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's really funny.
Um, man, it's been a while since I've heard from Austin.
Yeah.
I hope he's doing well. Yeah, there are a few things in the shot that you could probably remove just to like clean it up a bit. Like
Mhm,
maybe like that hose in the bottom right, and maybe even the sign too.
mhm.
Just things that sort of distract from the subject. Um, but overall, yeah, this is obviously really cool subject matter. I've never been to Alcatraz, but
I think
yeah,
darkening it, like again, we're dealing with, if let's pretend that this is just for the sake of a critique, let's pretend this is not shot on my phone, and say like you have everything at your disposal, you're shooting in RAW or whatever. I'm just, I think you could darken it like pretty severely. The shadows are so deep that it almost, you could almost convince somebody that it's like nearing evening, and you could really draw out the, you know, the darkness in the photo, and it would be a lot more dramatic. I think that's one of the things that's hard for me is how bright those flat planes are above the building.
Yeah.
You get like a really
I mean,
nice,
if you really
I think so.
yeah. Because I see that the stream is cut too.
Oh yeah, actually, good point.
Interesting. Oh, this might be perfect timing.
I guess so. Yeah, it's a sign.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. There it is. Oh, we got you back. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe we got Evan.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Sorry about that.
I haven't.
Okay.
Not sure what happened there, but
Okay.
whatever. But we were just about done anyway, weren't we?
Yeah, I think it's good timing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe our internet was crapping out. Trying to give
Yeah,
us some boot.
Yeah. Awesome. So, I'll let you finish this off, I guess, Jacob.
Sure. Yeah. So we're gonna try. I'll just try to say the things that I said at the beginning, which is that we're gonna try to do this semi-regularly again. Really nice to bring these back, especially streaming these out to YouTube and having like an actual recording of these. Since we used to do that, it was really nice, and I think a lot of our members were really grateful to be able to check out the replay of it. It just got really difficult to do by myself, especially for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm really grateful, Evan, that you're happy to do this with me and bring this back to life. These are so much fun to do.
Yeah. And
So,
you know, guys, next time I swear, this stream quality will be better. This is
oh yeah, I'm sure it will.
This is a first try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It was totally fine. Yeah, so we're gonna try to shoot for semi-regular, whatever that looks like. In the meantime, that will require people to be submitting in the critique channel, because otherwise there's nothing here. So
there you go.
you know, I think that one thing that I want to try to be more vocal about is just that critique channel can be for everything. It doesn't have to be for perfect. It should not be for perfect, polished finished product. It should be for, you know, stuff that you want to share, that you want thoughts on. I know that even before the pandemic, but coming into the pandemic, I really missed spaces where I could share with my peers, you know, people that I really trusted and loved, who could say in a very loving and caring way, like, this is really good, I think you could try that. I've missed that for years. I've missed that. And coming into the beginning of the pandemic, we were able to get that for a while. And then people go their own way, and, you know, don't need to utilize this or whatever. But I know I need this. Just the energy of it. And I think bringing it back would be really good for all of our members. It always creates some sort of coherency. Like, you know, everybody starts to learn from each other and influence each other. We've had periods where like people's photography starts to look similar because they're actually like, you know, influencing each other's work, which is so cool. But yeah, so we're going to bring these back, and we're also going to try to bring back our some iteration of our artist chats, our resident artist chats.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I can tease at that and also not give a date. But our past resident Alyssa Vitale, who's a dancer and a friend of mine, is going to help facilitate those with me. So hopefully within the month, we'll have one of those going as well. So
Nice.
keep your eye out for that.
Awesome.
That's all I have. Evan, anything you want to add? Go for it.
No, I'm glad we were able to get this together. And yeah, I hope next time anybody watching on the stream would love to see you in the chat next time.
Yeah,
Because
come
it's can only be better with more people, right?
yeah, definitely. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Cool.
See you guys.